Well, would you look at that?
My goodness, Brad, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I am a little high, but I'm pretty good. Listen, when you do adulting, sometimes you have to treat yourself afterwards.
Absolutely.
When you no longer have to be responsible. And
what
so
level of
that is what
adulting, Brad, do you need in your life for you to treat yourself with a little high?
I got out of bed, kept the kid alive all day.
All day?
That's all I need. I did other stuff too today. I actually went out into the world and did like real adulting, but that's not really necessary to treat myself. As long as I keep the kid alive.
As long as the kid is alive at the end of the day, the high can remain.
Exactly. So I'm good, Kellen. How are you doing?
I'm in a great mood, Brad. I've had a really excellent mood. Woke up in a really great mood. It was one of those days where and Brad, I don't know what your morning routine is, right? But I know for me, when I can take a really nice warm shower, right? That just sets me. I'm just in a good mood for the rest of the day. So sure. that was my day. So
excellent. Glad to hear it. Well, we got some stuff to talk about.
We do have some stuff to talk about. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to start with some stuff, or would you like me to ask you a question?
You know, Brad, I've got a couple of. I'm always thinking of sort of food-related questions because food is really important to me. So I have some food-related questions for you. I've got some questions that I think I might get a little under your skin about, which I'm very excited for.
Okay.
We'll try that a little bit later.
You're going to try to push the pineapple stuff on.
There are some things I know about you, Brad, that'll be interesting to see how you react to it. But yeah, Brad, I guess I have. We'll start with one question, Brad. We'll start here. We'll start with this easy question, right? Brad, if you had to, pizza is beautiful.
Pizza is beautiful. Yeah.
Pizza is beautiful. Let's also thank everyone for being here, right? As always, when we have people who are here watching, enjoying us talk about stuff, it's
crazy to know that people have nothing better to do than watch us talk about stuff.
Or, Brad, they have better things to do and they're avoiding those better things.
Oh, there is that. Can't do whatever. I have to go watch Kellen and Brad talk about whatever it is.
I think they're gonna talk about stuff tonight. We'll see. Brad, if you had to give up one of these two things, what would it be? Coffee or alcohol? Alcohol. You could cut alcohol out. You could say no more whiskey.
I have rum. Probably at least $10,000 worth of whiskey, like 8 feet from me, and I would give it up in a second. Because I would not function without caffeine.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be very long, and that would just fall apart. And you know what, Kellen? I could still get high.
Yes, so... I was about to say the same thing. I was like, you know what? If I had to give up the two of them, I'd rather give up alcohol because drinking coffee and getting a little high is a great experience. Drinking enough coffee to feel like you're high is a great experience.
Sure. Yeah, I very much enjoy alcohol. I like whiskey, clearly. I have quite a bit of it.
Clearly.
There's even a whole bunch of empty bottles down there. But I can't survive without caffeine, I don't think, for very long. It wouldn't work.
That would be difficult.
Especially the next few years of like early morning parenting still being a thing. It's not, it wouldn't be good at all.
I feel the same way.
I wouldn't want to be near me without caffeine. Let's put it that way. The people in my life would prefer that I have caffeine.
Yeah, everybody needs you to have caffeine. They need it's imperative that you have caffeine.
It would be the first like reverse intervention. Like, no, seriously, Brad. Like, just have a Dr. Pepper or some hot chocolate, something.
We just need you, Brad. We need you to have this caffeine. You can go back in time. I need you to have caffeine. Yeah, man, I'm the same way. I will take caffeine hands down over any other thing. And if it's between caffeine and alcohol, it's an easy choice. Alcohol's great. I've never made the types of mistakes that I've made while intoxicated on alcohol that I've made while drinking coffee. I don't think I make mistakes I make when I'm drinking coffee are like, oh, I watched too many YouTube videos, or I forgot to drink water, right? I'm not like waking up the next day after drinking a bunch of coffee and saying, oh God, how did I end up in Tampa Bay? Right. A coffee vendor is very different.
Station is this? What is going on? I don't recognize this place at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's always awkward when you wake up and you have to ask what city or state you're in. You know, it's just hard.
Suddenly people don't speak the same language as you, and then you really know.
That's
then
rough.
You really know.
Yeah, I would have to travel. It would be real weird if I got to a place that didn't speak any English or French or Spanish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a language that I don't recognize enough of to get by. Like, I would be somewhere very interesting.
Yeah, problematic. Very, very problematic.
Yeah.
Do you get a question for me?
I do have plenty of questions for you. Let's see which one. Oh, here's a silly one. Okay, so say you're tossed in an insane asylum for some reason. Okay?
For some reason, you know, you just get committed. Someone pulls the paperwork. You're committed to the insane asylum. You don't have a say. Mm-hmm.
What do you do or tell the people there to prove that you don't belong in the insane asylum?
That's a very tough question. That's a very, very tough question, right? How do I prove that I'm not? I don't belong there, Brad.
I'm not crazy. I don't belong here.
I'm not crazy.
They just threw me in here.
No.
What do you do?
How do I explain it? I think that's the tough thing, because it's like this is where my brain goes. I'm like, okay, so don't talk about that I'm not crazy.
That's something a crazy person would say.
Definitely don't be too calm. Don't be so like, I understand what I'm doing here. I actually think what I might do, Brad, what I really might do is wait until they decided it was time for me to leave. There might be a part of me that says, this is a forced vacation, right? I get to be medicated. Hopefully I get my own room. Sure. Like, I mean, are we talking like in late 60s, like really bad?
I would say like not horror movie-esque.
Yes.
Insane Asylum.
We're not talking about like lobotomies. We're not talking about shock therapy. We're talking about
you're just stuck until you can convince them that you need to get out.
I mean, Brad, a part of me thinks that this is exactly maybe what I do need, because I get to talk to someone. I get to meet.
Maybe it would be great. It's like, who wants to get out?
Exactly.
This is wonderful.
In some ways, I might be like, huh.
Like, I didn't do it, so I'm not paying for it.
I'm not paying for this, right?
If you want to keep me here,
please. And that would probably be the reason, me being excited to be there. And I would explain this like, look, I have 2 children that I love. I need a break. I have a job that really is not working for me lately. I need a big break from that. I think this is exactly where I need to be. Then they would say, get him out. Get him out of here.
Right. You're just wasting resources at that point. This isn't a hotel. Get out of here.
Yeah, this is not a hotel. I guess the only thing that would then become a problem is when I said, hey, what's the Wi-Fi password? And they said, you don't get access to the internet. That's when the crazy would start to come out, I feel.
Yeah, no communication to the outside world. That's not generally how that works. No phones, no internet.
Yeah, that's when it might be a little difficult. I mean, it's funny for me because I feel like if I'm like in the woods, if I was like out intentionally doing that forced seclusion is great. If I'm in a situation where I'm no longer allowed to, that's when the anxiety goes up, right?
Sure.
Yeah. What about you, Brad? Do you think you have a way you could convince them to not Shutter Island you?
Well, what I was thinking, I was going to ask you. So I figured I would think a little bit ahead, and I was thinking I probably couldn't straight up convince them I was sane right away, like off the bat. So I would fake an actual mental breakdown and then like deal with the therapy and the drugs for a few days and slowly work my way back to acting normal again so that they see progress.
Yeah.
And then let me out.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, right? Just slowly having to like, all right, I know I'm here for a reason. I know that this is important for me. Because again, what you don't want to do, and this is such the Keysy in me of like, don't show that you're aggressive. Don't show them that so they don't give you the mean stuff. Be like, hey, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to people. I want to find a solution. I want to find help. Like you kind of have to lean into that. But then at that point, that's when you're like, well, wait a second. What if that's what they're trying to get me to do? Is for me to believe that I am, in fact, I belong here.
Right.
Oh boy. There's a movie in there somewhere. There's definitely a movie in there somewhere.
I'm sure. I mean, that's probably a movie that exists. I'm sure that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a brand new idea.
No, probably not. Probably not. Brad, I have another question for you. That's kind of around your T-shirt, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. You are a fan of pizza, correct?
I am a fan of pizza. Yeah.
Brad, what's the best part of pizza?
The best part of pizza.
Yeah. What's the best part of pizza?
Like conceptually or the physical pizza?
You tell me.
Because the best part conceptually for me is that you can pretty much get it anywhere and you can find a place that's decent enough.
Mm-hmm. But what if we're talking about the physical aspect of pizza? The physical pizza, Brad. What is the best part of the pizza? What is the thing that when you think about, the best pizza has to have X, right?
So it would be between like the meat and the sauce for me. And it's gonna have to be meat. I know plenty of people have pizza with no meat, whatever. But for me, it's got to be the toppings with the meat. I'm a carnivore.
You're a carnivore? I actually don't. I most of the pizza that I enjoy is veggie pizza, like a white pizza with like artichokes and like the sort of like really well sauteed sort of vegetables on the pizza. I enjoy that aspect of it. But again, you get a good pepperoni, really good as well.
I'm boring. give me a good pepperoni or whatever the meat lovers version of things are, wherever, whatever local place, just pile the meat on.
Yeah, pile it on. Top, on top, on top. Yeah. So you would say the meat, the toppings, then? The toppings is the thing that makes pizza the best?
I guess the toppings would be the thing that makes pizza.
All right. Not the cheese. So all right, so here we go. This is the list. Toppings.
Cheese is important too.
Then sauce, then cheese?
I think so. Because a bad sauce will just instantly ruin a pizza.
But what about a bad crust? Like what if you got like a real what?
I mean, yeah, but then you could just eat the toppings and the cheese and the sauce and just ignore the crust. But then essentially use it as a plate.
True.
But it would ruin the pizza experience.
It would. It wouldn't be pizza then if you were just simply scraping the toppings with a spoon or a fork that way.
Would be low carb though, I guess.
Exactly. Then at that point, well, and then there we get into the question. Then, Brad, is it pizza then, or are you simply having a cheese meat sauce salad, or is this some sort of stew?
It's like this is getting back to like the is it a sandwich if it's a bread bowl situation?
No.
Is it still a pizza if you're just eating it off of bread and not eating the bread? I don't know. Does it make it keto? I don't know. Depends on the other toppings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess that's the type of the cheese as well. Does that throw off the ketosis then? I'm sure a mozzarella is not keto friendly.
Probably
there's too much water in there that way. Yeah. So
deconstructed pizza.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You're gonna go to some expensive New York restaurant and eat some, $300 deconstructed pizza in a pill.
Sure. It's just a hot pocket that they split down the middle, so it just opens into a plate.
There we go.
I could see actually like on a ridiculous hot plate or something,
Mm-hmm.
and they just come out and it's like a ball. They
Mm-hmm.
poke the top and it just splits
open,
and it's just pizza goo. I could see some weird restaurant doing that.
I mean, Brad, there is a very
They're delicious. Hot Pockets are great.
We are not shitting on Hot Pockets.
They're
Hot
phenomenal.
Pockets are fantastic.
As Dr. Evil would say, they're phenomenal.
They're phenomenal. There's a very fancy and overly expensive restaurant here in Chicago called the Linea, known for one of being the top 10 restaurants in the world for a while. And they do stuff like that where they would bring you like a glass tube, and they would pull the glass tube out, and then like this like pizza ball would fall down that had been sitting there, and then they would poke it and it would just sort of deconstruct that way. That would be a thing that they would totally do.
Yeah, I haven't been to many of those types of places. Not really my scene.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been to a couple that like I can see them doing some weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those places definitely exist.
They exist, and they are fun to a certain point for an experience. But there is also a level of like, I love when art and food come together. But there is a level of pretension that even for me, I struggle.
I just want to eat. I feel you.
You got one for me?
Of course. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, another weird hypothetical one. Why not?
Yeah, bring it.
So you're banned from the local library. What would be the reason that you get banned from the local library?
It's a one-word answer, Brad.
Confession time, Kellen. Are you banned from the local library?
I am not banned from the local library. Okay. I am not banned from the local library.
Just checking.
No. But the first thing that I thought of, the first answer, and I'm going to have to go with this answer. It's one word, Brad.
Word.
Hentai.
Sure. I mean, they have dividers and stuff.
They do have dividers, but I imagine at a certain point, if I was banned from a public library, it would probably be related to me either going there to research lewd and lascivious things, or just because they had an Ethernet connection that allowed for me to stream hentai stuff from Japan and Korea in a very fast manner. So
sure. I could see that.
Yeah. I guess what would be the other reason I would get kicked out of the library? Probably fighting a kid over a book.
Reverse Dewey
Decimal.
The ultimate crime.
Mm-hmm. It'd be very, very good. It'd be very, very good. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, having sex in one of the rooms, I don't know. Like a local library, that's one thing. But if I'm like, when I really think about it, I'm thinking about like a university library, one of those libraries that,
sure,
lot of room, all big 6 or 7 story library where there's places people don't go to at any time. That's when, here we go. That's when I'm working on content for my OnlyFans.
There you go.
In one of those long secluded aisles in the library. That's what it is.
I mean, that would be good content.
It would be excellent content. Educational, sure. Right? I'd be reading sonnets while jerking off in one of the aisles. And the content would be very hot. It'd be very good, but I would be kicked out.
No doubt. So you heard it here. Promotion for Kellen's OnlyFans. Get in while the getting's good, or
get in,
whatever.
Get in now. No, get it while the ceiling's low. When I'm like giving it away, right? When it's like $2 or $3 as opposed to in a year when it's like 15. So it's the way to be. Brad, yes. Your birthday is June.
It is
June 26th, correct?
That is accurate.
That would mean
doxing me on a public way is a little rude, but yes, it is.
I don't think birthdays are. I don't think. I'm
pretty sure that's public knowledge at this point.
It's public knowledge
about it.
I want to ask you, Brad. That means that you were born under the celestial movements of the stars were in a certain place where you were born under a constellation that looks like a crustacean. That would make you a Cancer, yeah. Correct?
Yep.
Yes. And you're a big fan of the zodiac, right? You're a huge fan
of the killer. Yeah, we talked about this last time. I think he was very interesting, and potentially is. I mean,
who knows? Who knows? Could be multiple people as well.
Could be multiple people. Could be a well-known politician.
Exactly, right? Who knows that who moved him and his family to Texas to avoid anything else like that, right?
Sure. You could say I'm aware of the zodiac. I don't know if I would say that I'm a fan.
You're aware of the pseudoscience of astrology, correct?
Sure.
Yes,
sure.
Brad. What do you know about astrology in relation to your sign?
Not a lot, to be honest. I mean, years ago, I looked up a little bit of stuff just to see, but I can't remember any of the specifics.
Sure.
They didn't seem very relevant at the time.
So Brad, here's my question for you. Why do people like reading their horoscope?
Because they're full of Barnum statements and make people feel good and make people feel like they can predict things that not so accurate, but accurate enough that it makes them feel like they're getting something out of it a lot of the time.
Now, Brett, I know what a Barnum statement is. What is for our audience who might not know? What is a Barnum statement?
So a Barnum statement is basically a statement that applies to almost anyone a good chunk of the time. Like, you're really shy, but when you get comfortable, you can be pretty outgoing. Mm-hmm. Where you hit both sides of an extreme and you leave a lot of wiggle room in the middle, so people can kind of interpret themselves at some point in the scale of whatever you're saying.
Yes,
horoscopes are just full of that.
Oh yeah, exactly. He was great at a party, but also was good on one-on-one, right? A statement that says, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm good at one of those things, but I'm much more better at the other thing," right? So there's a lot of money that goes into horoscopes and the rest of this. I mean,
so much.
Is there a reason that you think people desire this on a daily basis? There's a whole cottage industry around books, around all of that sort of stuff. Is that I know, Brad, that we talk a lot about sort of the pseudoscience and the sort of the harmful nature of this. Do horoscopes hurt anybody?
I mean, if you're really trying to rule your life by them, probably to a degree, but for most people, probably not. It's just a lot of silliness for the most part, I would imagine. There's probably some small subset of people that take things really seriously and have lost, job opportunities or different things because they're trying to follow what their horoscope said and in very specific ways.
Very specific.
Generally, probably not. I mean, mostly entertainment-ish.
So do you think it's fine for someone to if it is for entertainment, right? Is
legally speaking, they tend to list entertainment purposes only. That kind of
yes,
thing.
It has the WWE disclaimer at the beginning every time.
Yeah, I mean, legally speaking, yes. How people take that is fuzzier sometimes.
Do you think it's when someone says to you, "Oh, I'm a blank," and then they take on all of the sort of meaning around that, right? For me, I'm a Gemini, so that allows me to have the duality, the sort of fickleness of a Gemini, right? I take on these affectations because it speaks to my sort of character. When you hear someone sort of do this in terms of "Oh, I'm totally a Virgo," or "Oh, I'm a Scorpio," is there something that happens inside of you when you hear that, or is it well, that's funny that they believe that? That's entertaining?
It definitely puts them in a particular category in my brain with regards to how they pull in information from the world. Not necessarily in a bad way, as far as getting along with them or whatever, but I wouldn't necessarily ask them for certain categories of advice, let's say, because of how I believe they are interpreting information.
Okay, so it's more even if it is for entertainment, the fact that they take that on as a mantle in and of themselves, it sort of denotes a certain element of how they're reasoning or how they're perceiving the world.
Right. Not quite ironically, it explains something to me about their personality and how they think.
Interesting. That is very funny.
The world. But it doesn't matter what sign they are. Just it's like I sort of joke around with the fact that the only joke that I remember from The Big Bang Theory that was funny from the first episode was when Penny says to Sheldon, like, she's a Sagittarius or whatever. I can't remember what her sign was. Like, so that probably tells you all kinds of things about me. And Sheldon's like, yes. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. That pilot's not that bad. That pilot had a lot of potential.
It did. They really stacked it into the first episode a little bit, in my opinion. But that's probably a topic for a different time. My hate for The Big Bang Theory.
You know, Brad, that's actually a fun show. The two of us hate watching The Big Bang Theory. That's a podcast. This is a show. But if we had to hate watch an episode of Big Bang Theory every week and then talk about it on a podcast, that would be entertaining as well as painful for both of us.
I absolutely hate that is a good idea that I think we might have to do.
We might have to do that. We might actually have to do that.
That aggravates me because that would be really funny. I think that would be good, but I'm annoyed now. Isn't that just the worst? Like, that's a terrible idea.
And then by the end,
I need to do it.
You need to do this. I hate this idea. Oh boy, that's funny.
Yeah, it tells me at least some things about how they view the world, which, you know, whatever, it is what it is. Lots of people do. Some people take it really extreme, and then it's a whole other category of thing. But
so what is that really extreme then? What is that for those people who are taking it to an extreme? Are those the sort of people who are like, well, I don't date people who are, you know, I don't date people who are Capricorns, or your rising is an Aries. Well, I can't be with you because I'm this or that. Like,
sure. Or like telling their friends, like, oh yeah, don't leave your apartment today. Like, your horoscope is really horrible. Or like, oh yeah, your star sign is whatever, but you're actually a moon sign of this, so you're more compatible. It gets very complicated very quickly as they sort of add layers.
Yeah.
To the signs and all. There's what moon sign. There's planetary conjunction things. There's rising and falling celestial bodies. There's like I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9 layers of detail that you can add, and how specific you can get your birth time. You know, matters in different contexts and stuff. Like, people go bonkers with it.
There's a really interesting, from a technology side, Brad. There's an app, I can't remember the name of it, that essentially is using a algorithm to generate all of that stuff for people, where you put in your star sign, your moon sign, your rising, the rest of that, and your location, and every day it is feeding you algorithmic sort of information that way. And as a skeptic as well, but also someone who enjoys the entertainment of it, it was fascinating to see how good it was at generating information for me specifically, to be like, oh, based on this, and reading it and being like, this is fascinating. It's fascinating just to see what the algorithm would project. And then based on how you interacted with it, the algorithm could then say, oh, cool. If Kellen was reading this specific part of his chart, we're going to continue to influence him in this sort of way. It was amazing to sort of watch over a month.
Oh, sure. Another thing with the, what is it, JPT-3, is like the more things you feed it, the more accurate it will get at giving you things that it thinks that you're going to react in the same way. Like, so and that sort of, like, horoscopes is a daily thing, right? So it's a very quick feedback loop, and it'll get very good very fast at telling which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like, how to word things differently so that you engage more, all that kind of stuff, regardless of attaching anything to reality, because it's just making up words that it thinks or phrases that it thinks you'll enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Numerology is a whole other. It's very related category, but it's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Numerology is really interesting. I Ching is really interesting as well. Like, I mean, there's so much of this sort of stuff where it's like you kind of you just let go a little bit here, and suddenly you're like, oh, I see how I get through the maze if I stop using a little bit of reason if I just buy into this tiny little element of the magic, then of course it all just makes perfect sense. Right?
It's a little bit like the spirit box stuff and all that with the paranormal things, where you're feeding in a bunch of semi-random noise. And because the human brain is really great at trying to pick up patterns, if you want to look for patterns in that noise, you're going to find some. And numerology is a lot like that, except the noise is other people that have figured out bits of patterns that seem to be good at attaching themselves into human brains. And so it gets sort of more and more complex in a direction where people will see more and more patterns because people have already seen the patterns and fed more into it. It's essentially what GPT-3 does, but at a human scale instead of using AI.
Yeah. Brad, do you want to explain what GPT-3 is to everyone in case they don't know what that is?
Sure. So it's essentially, I'm not going to be able to explain it very well.
Of course, but yeah.
Essentially, it's an AI that takes in vast amount of text. I think it could do audio now too, or a version of it can, but mostly text. And then it can spit out predictive text. Like you give it a statement, an idea, a concept, whatever, and it'll just start spitting things out. There's an adventure game now that uses it. So you can just type in, go to the city, and it'll just generate the next thing. Like, okay, you go to the city, you see this, this, and this, and you can just type in whatever. But instead of like Zork style, like go north, you just be like, find the nearest bar and talk to the cute woman or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll just
is there a hot tiefling MILF here? And it'll
all that generate stuff. Whatever you want. Yeah, it's very interesting and frightening.
Yes.
How good it is getting at that kind of thing.
We're very close to her. We're very, very close to her.
There's actually, I think I might even have a link to it. Someone fed in all of the Star Wars movies and had it write a script for Star Wars Episode 10. And then they did a live reading of it on like Zoom or something.
Yeah.
There's video of I do have it actually. I wonder if I could pull that up here.
Maybe that's for our next show. Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll find clip. Like it's like 4 hours long or something. I'll find clips and have it maybe for next time. But it's really interesting where that stuff is going, and especially like with things like horoscopes or whatever, you're going to get more and more AI generated stuff like that because it's easier to produce, which means it's cheaper for the people trying to make money off of it. And it gets more and more accurate faster than a human can, which means more people will stick around and believe it because it sounds more like a thing that they want to believe specifically because it can be tailored person to person a lot easier. It's going to get financially dangerous for people that are susceptible to those types of things.
Yeah. All right, Brad, I've got oh no, you got a question for me. Excuse me.
I do. I actually have a little bit of a quiz for you if you would like.
I would love a quiz. Okay,
so let me just pull this up here. So since it is Mario Day.
It is Mario Day.
10th, even though that date is backwards for most of the world, whatever.
I was going to say, it's a little strange.
Let's find the right tab here. So I found a silly quiz for what Mario character are you?
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah, so just a fun little silly thing.
Okay.
So apparently it's also National Ranch Day. I didn't know that.
It's BJ's favorite day.
His favorite day, National Ranch Day. All right, so Kellen.
Yes.
What is your favorite color out of the 4 choices, I guess? Pink, green, red, or white?
I'm going to say green is my favorite of the 4.
Green. All right. How about your favorite Mario item? The Super Leaf, the Super Bell, the Fire Flower, or Pow Blocks?
I'm going to say Super Bell. I think the Super Bell is very, very fun.
It is fun.
Yes, that's the one that turns me into a cat.
Yeah, I get to climb everything. There's lots of Super Bell in the new Bowser's Fury.
Yes.
It's a fun time. How do you feel about Princess Peach? I don't get what Mario sees in her. She is a mighty good leader. I'll defend her at all costs, and she must be mine.
I don't get what Mario sees in her. I'm much more of a Daisy fan, if I'm being perfectly honest. Peach is great, but...
Are you a natural leader?
Oh.
Yes, absolutely. I try to be, but no, I'm a born follower, or I'm more of an independent type.
I think that's a tough one, Brad. I would say yes, absolutely. I think I'm a natural born leader that way, but my insecurity tells me I should answer. I try to be so I'm going to go with my non-insecure answer and say yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. It's okay. Let's fake it until you make it. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Where would you want to live? In a giant castle? In a modest house? In a small apartment? Or it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't spend much time there.
A modest house. That actually sounds very nice. A modest home seems very
modest house. All right. Look, getting a little personal. How's your love life?
Okay.
I love someone who doesn't like me back harsh. I'm in a committed relationship. I do okay for myself. Or I've been single forever.
I do okay for myself. I'll say I do okay for myself.
A married man saying he does okay for himself and not in a committed relationship. That's interesting. Okay, interesting. Would you like riding Yoshi? I'm assuming in a non-sexual fashion.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't assume, Brad. Don't assume.
Of course, who wouldn't? No way, those things are terrifying. Sure, it looks like fun, or absolutely not. I hate that monster.
Of course, who wouldn't?
Of course, who wouldn't? All right. A monster. Jeez.
Monster?
Yep. Yoshi is adorable. I don't know.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite Mario Kart item? The red Koopa shell, banana peels, lightning, or invincibility stars?
It's got to be banana peels. It's got to be banana peels.
Banana peels are great.
They're great.
When you get good at throwing them, no one expects it.
Absolutely. Or you hold them behind you, and then that red shell, not going to be a problem.
Exactly. Just got to worry about the damn blue ones.
Oh, my God, the blue shell.
All right. How do you react in the face of danger? I cower in fear and hope someone else deals with it. I wait for someone to come and save me. Prepare to defeat it at all costs, or I am the danger.
I prepare to defeat it at all costs. That's the only real answer for me, I guess.
Which of the following foods is your favorite? Cake, salad, spaghetti, or I'll eat whatever people put in front of me.
Whatever people put in front of me. Cake. I mean, that's clearly peach, right?
Sure. She does like cake. All right. What's your biggest wish in life? To be a great leader? To take over the world? To keep my loved ones safe? Or to make my family proud?
To keep my loved ones safe. That is probably my greatest wish that way.
Right. Number 12. I think there's like 15 questions, so we're probably just about there. Which of the following is your favorite sport? Football, tennis, golf, or none? I'm terrible at sports.
I would say tennis. I played a lot of tennis in high school and really enjoyed it. And I love watching tennis as well. So
the new Mario tennis game is super weird.
It's super, super weird. It doesn't even feel like a tennis game.
The older one.
Mario is missing. Great game that nobody's ever played.
It really is. All right. What's your favorite Mario or outfit that Mario can wear? The frog suit, the hammer suit, the Tanuki suit, or the cat suit?
It's the Tanuki suit. The Tanuki suit is super, super cute. Now here's the question, Brad. Are we talking about the traditional Tanuki suit where he turns into stone, or the leaf that is called the Tanuki suit that gives you the tail that allows you to fly? That's the question.
I don't know. I would go with the statue.
I think it's the statue.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic original version.
Yeah, classic.
Which of the following describes your body type? Slim and slender, completely average, tall and lanky, or big and bulky?
I'm tall and lanky, Brad. I am tall and lanky.
You and me both.
Yes.
Right, which Mario enemy do you dislike the most? Bowser, Goombas, Wario, or King Boo?
King Boo. King Boo's a total asshole.
He is. Especially to Luigi. I mean,
Oh my gosh,
messing with Luigi. Every Luigi's Mansion game, King
It's
Boo
always
is
King
just
Boo.
Right. Are you comfortable traveling through sewers?
Sure.
If I have to. Absolutely. No problemo. Nah, why would someone do that? Or, ew, gross. No way.
I would say sure if I have to. Well, I'm a little adventurous. If I've got to go through the sewers, let's do it. If I got to, let's do it.
Pop on some of those overalls and have at it, right?
Exactly, right?
You know, you're going to have some
we gotta
Mario cosplay
Absolutely.
stuff in the OnlyFans. Okay, how would you adapt to the paper world? It wouldn't change me at all. I'd hide in the background. I'd fit right in, or it would tear me to pieces.
I would fit right in, I guess. I would adapt to the paper world.
What is your greatest fear?
Oh.
Getting defeated in battle, being inferior to those around me, having no one to protect me, or losing my loved ones.
Being inferior to those around me, if I'm being real. That struck me as that's the most honest answer right there. Yeah.
Mario?
You say it the way you want to say it, Brad. Don't let these people bully you.
It's Mario.
Yeah. You can say Mario. You can say Mario.
Yeah. All right, sorry. What are you going with there, Kellen?
I was going to say being inferior to those around me.
Inferior to those around me. Okay. Which role do you take when in a group? The leader, the non-contributor, the born follower, or the motivator?
I'm the motivator. I think I'm the person who wants to motivate people the most.
Okay. And which of the following is your favorite non-Mario series? Kirby, Harvest Moon, The Legend of Zelda, or Dragon Quest?
It would be Legends of Zelda. There we go. But yes, Harvest Moon is fun, but it's no Animal Crossing. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing definitely surpassed it.
Yes.
But Harvest Moon is a great classic.
It's a great game.
Do you travel? Not really, but I've been lots of places by chance. Not at all. I much prefer staying at home. Yes, as long as my friends come with me. And of course, I love venturing through the world.
Of course. I love venturing through the world.
All right. Are you a hero or villain? I'm more of a background character. I suppose that's up to the people. A hero, of course, or born villain and proud.
I suppose
not only a villain, but like villain.
I suppose that's up to the people. I think that is my that's my answer. That's my Waluigi answer right there.
This has more questions than I thought it did.
Huh.
How would your friends describe you? Creative, intelligent, funny, or caring?
Brad, you're one of my friends. How would you describe me? You answered this one for me.
I mean, yes, is how I...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's all four for me. I'm creative, intelligent, funny, and caring, right?
I would probably say caring is at the top.
We'll put caring at the top. I like that.
What do you think about Donkey Kong?
Oh my gosh.
He's not as bad when you get to know him. He's a great friend. He's a nasty gorilla, or he's a bullying brute.
He's not bad when you get to know him.
Tyson is, I mean, The Legend of Zelda is good stuff for sure. At least from that list, absolutely, no contest. Right. Which of the following is your favorite Mario game? Super Mario Galaxy, Luigi's Mansion, Paper Mario, or Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
It's got to be Galaxy. Galaxy's one of the best all times.
Galaxy is great.
Yeah.
No, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is actually weirdly good.
It is. It's a fun puzzle game with all these Mario elements that way.
I played through them all with the mini human.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good for that. All right, it looks like that's it. So let's find out what character you are. You're Luigi.
Yay! That's the only answer I wanted. There we go.
Perfect.
It works.
You get to wear your overalls.
Yes, I get the overalls. Perfect. I get to jump. I feel I'm accurate that way. I like that. That works for me.
So there you go.
Brad, what a fun quiz. Thank you. I'm Luigi. There we go.
I had to do a little bit of something for Mario Day.
I appreciate that, Brad. That's a good one. Brad, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the film starring Richard Pryor and John Candy called Brewster's Millions?
I mean, it's been a long time, but yes, I am.
Brad, what is the premise of Brewster's Millions?
Bruce, if I remember correctly, he's like gotta give away money. He has to use up.
He has to spend
a pile of money in
$30,000
crazy short time
within 30 days.
Sure.
And then he gets $300,000. And if he can't do it in 30 days, he gets nothing.
Right.
At the time, Brad, $30 million was a lot of money and very difficult to spend. Today, I think it'd be pretty easy to spend $30 million in 30 days. That wouldn't be hard to do at all, right?
Sure. You go online and you buy a private jet or something. You're
Boom,
done.
it's done. It's there.
Literally 5 minutes. You're done.
You're done.
I'm sure there's websites that specialize in that.
Oh, absolutely.
In that level of aircraft.
Or just literally go and invest to be like, all right, what? Sure. Great. GameStop, $30 million. Boom.
Now, that would be interesting. Just like it happens on the same weekend that Reddit is going crazy for GameStop, and just like, sure, why not? I got to do it anyway. That would be amazing.
So, Brad, my question for you is: if we had to do a Brewster's Millions for you, and you had to spend $30 million in one day, but you couldn't buy anything online,
okay.
Could you do it? Could you spend $30 million? Not giving it away to people. Could you spend $30 million in one day? And if you could, how would you do it?
I mean, yeah. There's a Tesla dealership like 20 minutes away. I could just walk and take the bus over and drive over. Say, okay, I will take however many, ludicrous Model S's.
Okay,
as
Model
necessary.
S. Model S. Okay, Model S Tesla.
Like
how is that cost then? So, in terms of all the Teslas that you're having, okay.
Let's see, how quickly can we get just a
order now? We want the highest model that way.
Yeah.
So that's okay with everything there. I mean, I don't think you're maybe spending $250,000. Is that what you're just going to do? You're just going to buy a bunch of cars that way with cash?
Sure. Why not? Efficiency. You can sell them afterwards. It's not.
Brad, the spirit of the question is, how else would you do them?
You know me better than that. You know me better than that, Kevin.
Okay, so if you could only buy one Tesla, or you could only buy one of every one.
Now we're adding rules. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. No, how else? I don't know.
How else would you spend
it's a lot of
$30
money.
million in a day? I mean, if you
just buy like several buildings downtown.
But that's not going to happen in one day. You're not going to walk into a building with cash and say, I want to buy this building, right?
True.
I mean, that's the thing about, I thought like, oh, you just buy like a house, like a mansion. Well, the equity, no one's going to take it for cash, right? That's not going to happen.
Right. That would be tricky. To go on like Craigslist and offer to buy like someone's island getaway or something for cash.
There you go.
That day.
You could do that, or you could say, "Hey, come buy me coffee, and I'll pay off your student loans, or I'll pay whatever debt you have."
Right.
And just hand out the cash and be like,
"Come to the parking lot at the Starbucks at the corner of whatever and whatever."
Bad location.
Or you know what? You go on Reddit and you just say, "Give me your Bitcoin address. Give me your PayPal.
But you
Give me
can't
your
do it with internet.
Venmo."
That's the thing. No internet. No
Internet.
no internet.
That would be tricky without internet. I don't know what I would do to spend that much money without internet in one day.
If you take the internet out of it, suddenly that spending $30 million in a day becomes infinitely harder.
It does. That's very tricky.
Right?
And go to a bookstore, buy every book. I will take everything. Your entire inventory.
Sure. So, and then you have to rent a truck to take the books, right? So there's some more money that way. Hire people to load all the books into the truck, probably multiple trucks at that point. You're not just going to throw the books in the back of the truck. You're going to put them in.
Just walk down the street yelling, "I'll give you $10,000 right now to join my flash mob." just start recruit an army, and then you give them a bunch of cash to buy stuff. You just spread out like ants through the city, just passing out cash. It would be tricky to spend that much money without internet use for sure in a single day. Seems doable, but very tricky.
Yeah. Doable, but tricky. Yeah. Well, thank you, Brad. That was much more enjoyable than I thought when you're like, I just buy a bunch of Teslas.
Look, if there's a way to min-max it, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Oh,
that's just how it is.
That's how it is. That's how it is. I got another quick one for you if you want one.
Sure. Yeah.
Brad, besides whiskey, do you collect anything?
I mean, not really. I used to collect a bunch of movies and books and stuff, but I've gone basically fully digital.
Fully digital? Yeah.
Which doesn't really count in my brain as a collection.
As collections, yeah. Is there a thing that would if you saw being offered that would cause you to say, I need a physical copy of this? Is there a movie? I know for me, Akira came out on the Blu-ray, and I was like, I want to have that. I want to see the better version of Akira that they re-released last year that I didn't get to see in theaters. I want to have that Blu-ray so I can watch that. I'm with you. I don't need physical media, but there are some things where I'm like, I want the better version of that.
Right. Can't really think of anything that I need a physical. I mean, now you can get digital versions 8K, whatever, upscaled, just about anything. So not really. I mean, the closest would probably used to be books. I had a bunch of books I got rid of years ago as I went digital, just because I didn't have the room anymore and I was moving. Yeah. So I just dumped all that. But yeah, other than whiskey, I definitely collect that.
Okay.
How about you, Kellen?
I used to collect comic books. Again, comic books were my thing. I would go to Comic-Cons in Oregon and even in Chicago, and I would love just finding all the sort of back issues that way. But at a certain point in my life, it just got too much. Right? I have 12 long boxes that have followed me across the country, and when you pick up a 30-pound long box that you haven't opened for 2 years, you ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
That's all right. I just can't let this go by in the chat. Carrie, you slay me. Oh, Carrie. Love it. And Pittman has some ideas.
Pittman's got a lot of overall talk tonight. Pittman's been on the overall boom, boom, boom.
You sent me to the overall side of TikTok for sure.
And you have yet to say thank you.
I'm not going to. You did it on purpose. It's your fault. I consider it your fault. I'm not. It is what it is. I made the choice. I knew it was going to happen.
You knew it was going to happen. Yes, you knew it was going to happen. Yes, right. Yes.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Kellen?
Yes, Brad.
Do you remember movie theaters?
I do, Brad. I do. Actually, I saw a movie last year. I got to see a movie. There's a theater here in Chicago called the Music Box. It's a 100-year-old movie theater, and they have a smaller theater that you can rent out. And so we rented out one of the small theaters for our friend Amy's 40th birthday. We watched one of my favorite movies. I told you about this when it happened. We watched Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
And God, that movie is good. And oh my God, it was so good to see a movie in a movie theater and sit in the dark and just, I'm getting chills thinking about it, Brad.
Sure. So in movie theaters, though, Kellen, there's armrests usually on the seats.
Okay.
How do you figure out which armrest is yours and which is your neighbor's armrest?
I believe, again, I'm a Marxist, Brad. I believe that property is owned by everyone, and I don't believe that a armrest is someone's. So I try to find. What I try to do is I try to make a claim, or I try to have a conversation to say, do you want the whole armrest? Can we share? Is there a place that you feel more comfortable? Which tends to make people uncomfortable, and they say, especially in the Midwest, no, you take.
He's talking to me. You could have whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Just leave me alone.
Don't
take the armrest. They just start weeping. Yes. You've ruined their movie.
Yes, I've ruined Avengers Endgame to the person.
They're just crying through Avengers Endgame.
Asked me about
this giant man asked me about the armrest.
Being such a long and lanky person, I tend to try and get a little small in a movie theater. I don't want to expand too much because I know if I do, then I get wide.
You take up like 8 seats. Yeah,
I get the long elbow.
The same issue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's a little difficult that way. Not impossible, but a little bit difficult. Fun. Boy, I miss movies, Brad. Boy, I miss movies.
Me too. It's one of the rare things that I would regularly go out into the world to do, is go to see movies.
What was the last movie you saw in theaters? I'm embarrassed about the last movie I saw. I'm very upset that it's the last movie I saw.
The last movie I saw in theaters. I think it was Infinity War.
Wow. That was the last movie you saw in a theater?
I think so.
So it wasn't
toddlers.
It wasn't COVID that stopped you from seeing movies.
No, it was toddlers.
It was toddlers. Okay.
Actually, did the Dora movie come out after that? It might be the Dora the Explorer movie.
Oh, I think maybe the Dora the Explorer movie came out.
Because that was an experiment to see if I could finally start getting the kid out to the movies, because then we're off to the races.
Then we're good. The Sonic movie, that was the last movie I saw. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Nice.
Yeah. Which was better than I thought, but was still fine.
I mean, it's no Detective Pikachu.
It is definitely. Detective Pikachu was very, very fun. That was a fun movie.
It was.
Yeah. Okay, Brad. Here's a
Sonic for Michelle.
Hey, there we go. Right. I think there's a lot of people who
Sonic.
Yeah. There we go. It's all everybody with kids relatively under 10 probably saw Sonic, and that was good. Gotta go fast. Right? Brett, I've got a couple questions for you. A couple of quick ones for you this way. Maybe they're not quick ones. Who knows?
Okay.
Brad, who's your favorite fictional villain?
My favorite
fictional villain.
That's tough.
It is tough, right? It's tough.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Nicolas Cage from Face Off keeps coming up. I can't remember what his character was even named in that.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But you know who I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't know. Fictional villains.
Okay, here we go, Brad. Here we go. For $10. For $10, can you name Nick Cage's name in Face Off? I will give you some hints. I will give you some hints. Okay.
Okay.
His last name is related to the prequel to the Odyssey.
Trying to activate those neurons. Hold on. I don't think that's gonna work.
And his first name, let me just make sure I know what this is.
I'm not cheating.
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's a type of oil that in the olden days, the turn of the 20th century, you would be fed it, and kids would go, this is gross, right? And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, tell me. If I think Nick might know this. Nick might know this.
It's castor something.
It's castor something. Very good. Yeah, very good, Brad.
When you said oil, it's fucking castor.
Right? You're like, it's
like I don't know the rest. I don't know.
Again, Brad. Again, it's the prequel to the Odyssey.
Is it Castor Troy?
It's Castor Troy. It's Castor Troy. There you go for $10, Brad. There you go.
You heard it here, everybody. I get $10 now. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a bet that I'm going to hold you to for no reason. Oh, now I want to watch Face Off.
Yeah, right.
Okay, can we do a podcast where we just like hate watch bad TV and love watch bad movies?
Yeah. Bad TV is unforgivable. Bad movies are art, right? Bad TV is such a waste of your time, and that's why us watching The Big Bang Theory would be so entertaining.
There's an angle there for a podcast where we only watch terrible things, but we hate doing the TV and we love doing the movies. There's something there. There's a podcast there.
There definitely is a podcast there. There's definitely.
The Patreon gets high enough, and we finally get to do a movie instead of to break the monotony of.
There we go, Brad. This is how we gamify it. This is how we turn this into something else. So again, Brad, back to the question at hand: who's your favorite fictional villain? Nick already said Dolores Umbridge, a fantastic villain, right? From the Harry Potter series. What else? What are you thinking? Right, Vader's up there, right? But is he the best? Is he your favorite? If you got to look something up, go ahead. Tyson says, "Deathbed, the bed that eats." I believe that's a Deathbed, the bed that eats. That's a Patton Oswalt or a Brian Posehn reference as well. Deathbed.
Such a terrible movie. So great.
Terrible movie.
Just don't touch the bed. What do you do? It can't move. Just stop touching it. It's a bed. Just put a box around it or something.
Don't touch the bed. It's the deathbed. We know it's the deathbed.
I might have to go like literarily fictional and go with like Moriarty or something.
Oh, Moriarty's good. But which version of Moriarty, right?
True.
Right?
You know what? The version from the show Elementary might actually be my favorite. The female Moriarty.
Oh yeah.
They flipped it.
She's real
because she's both Irene Adler and
exactly.
Or she's not Irene Adler, but she's like Sherlock's girlfriend and Moriarty.
And Moriarty as well. Elementary was very, very fun. That show did not get enough praise for what it was.
It was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably go with Moriarty.
Moriarty's good. Moriarty's really, really good.
Dr. Evil also pretty entertaining
Classic.
as far as villains go. But I don't know if like evil versus entertainment sort of fits in to the scale of villainy, because he's not terribly villain. Like he's bad at being a villain.
He's a fop.
But he's fun
yes.
at being a villain.
I'm
really annoyed that they didn't end up making the next sequel with his son being like just a legit down-to-earth actual villain.
Yes.
Because that would have been interesting to see.
Brad, that movie can still happen. Trust me. Mike Myers loves the taste of money.
That is true. That is factual. Could still happen.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to return to Austin Powers, I think, after all these years.
Wouldn't be impossible. And people would see the movie and it would make big dollars.
Oh yeah. What about you? You got a favorite villain?
I know this is very, very, but very silly. But I really do think that Vader is my favorite. There is something about Vader specifically that and not Anakin, Vader, right? I'm talking Vader. He's in the suit. It's just him. Aesthetically, it's perfect. It's so good. So good. He's the best.
It's pretty good. Solid villain for sure.
Solid villain.
Likes choking people. Very, very
loves choking people. Loves just all of it, right? That's what he gets off on. That's what he gets off on. What is Patrick Stewart's name in Point Break? What is Patrick Stewart's name in Point Break, Brad?
Do you mean Patrick Swayze?
Patrick Swayze. No, Brad. I mean,
my brain was trying really hard. I was like, wait, what did I forget about Point Break? Like, holy shit.
I mean
Patrick Stewart played a bartender in Point Break. That would have been amazing.
Or there we go. Then it's Q. There we go. Q is a fantastic.
Q is a great.
Yes. Point Break. I got to figure out what Patrick Swayze. Excuse me.
I have no idea what Patrick Swayze's name is. That hurt my brain a little bit. Trying to find that information. I'm like, wait, what?
It's Bodie. I should know.
Okay,
it's Bodie.
Yes, okay. Now that you say that instantly, I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, of course it's Bodie. Come on, it's Bodie. It's Bodie. Come on.
Yeah.
And Nick is like. So good.
Yep. So Kellen.
Yeah, Brad.
Speaking of movies. What movie do you think would be greatly improved by turning it into a musical?
Oh. A movie. I mean, it's on my mind right now. Point Break would be a fantastic.
Point Break
would be a fantastic musical, right? Johnny Utah, Bodie, them surfing, right? That'd be fantastic. They already turned Evil Dead into a musical, so that would be can't do that one. Child's Play. Child's Play would be a really
musical. Would be
fun musical about a little doll who comes to life, and the only way that they can show love is by murdering people.
That would be pretty good. I like
that. What else? This is terrible. This would never happen. If we're going to talk about Brad, you and I are making the producers, right? We're trying to make the worst musical ever, right?
Sure.
Right? Schindler's List, the musical, right? We're talking about a bad musical, and the thing is if you made Schindler's List into a musical and you put it on Broadway, it would kill. People would love it. People would it would be the next Les Mis, right? It would be huge. It would be huge. Yeah. What about you, Brad? What's a bad musical? What's a music? Not a bad musical. What's a movie that could be turned into a musical? Human Centipede the musical. There we go.
Human Centipede the music. We're done. That's it. That's Human Centipede the musical wins. I think that would be amazing. I would watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
Requiem for a Dream.
Would be
Tyson with the
stage. Yes. No, with Mav.
Oh. Mwah.
That's pretty good. I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah, I think
that wins.
That's the top.
That wins the night.
Here we go. Brad, here's the next question for you. Brad, what is one temptation you can never resist?
I don't know, Kellen. What's one temptation I can never resist? I mean, caffeine.
Caffeine. But is caffeine a temptation, though, Brad? That's the thing. Caffeine is not a temptation. We're talking about temptation. There's a little bit of danger involved in a temptation.
A little bit of danger in a temptation.
Danger, right?
What? I'm trying to think of like things that would qualify as temptations in that sense. I don't have a lot of restraint when it comes to that sort of thing. I just tend to do the things that I want to do. So temptation is a tricky.
But that's the thing. There is still temptation in your life, Fred. There is still temptation. And what is the one temptation that you cannot resist? If it is put in front of you, you know you should say no, Brad, but you do not.
I really don't know. I don't tend to fall into the category of thinking of things like I shouldn't do. Like either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. There's no middle ground.
As a recovering Catholic, there's nothing in your life that makes you feel just a little like, ooh, right? Like,
I don't know. I can't think of anything. I don't have many things in that category in my brain. Either I'm going to do it and it's fine, I don't feel guilty about it, or it's something that's just off the table and I'm going to do it.
Okay. So what about like a box of donuts, Brad? There's a box of donuts in your house. There's no one else in the house. Is that a temptation for you?
Not really. If I have to go upstairs, I'm not even going to bother. I'll just drink a Soylent. Sorry, I'm terrible at this.
I thought this question was actually going to get something else, but you're like, no. There's no. Life is about enjoying yourself. There's no such thing as temptation.
No, I am just bad at this.
Okay,
I don't think it's good that I don't have a good answer for this.
Yeah,
my brain is not good at separating those categories.
Okay.
If there's a box if I wanted some of those donuts, I would just go get them.
You would just
it wouldn't be like, I shouldn't have one of them.
It wouldn't you wouldn't have the angel
like there's donuts, I'll either eat one or I won't bother.
I guess, Brad, the question is, so if there is something in your house that says do not do, you are someone who says, I will not do that. If there's something in my house that says don't eat these donuts, Brad, you will say, I should not eat these donuts.
Yes.
That is not a temptation for you.
Not even a bit.
Brad, if there was a big basket of just the best, most crystalline nuggets of weed there. Right? If you do flour that way, if you're really into flour, right? If you were into that, and there was a sign that said, you have to wait until we get home, Brad, from your wife. Your wife on your birthday brought you this big basket of weed.
Sure.
It permeates through the house. You're saying that you could sit there and say, I'm not going to partake until the time there would be no temptation.
Yeah. I could basically do that with like 15 feet away. Glass jars full of amazing weed. But instead, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to use this crappy little thing because I don't have to get up. That's how my brain. My brain
That's
is
how
dumb,
Brad's
Kellen.
brain works.
My brain is dumb at a lot of things, Kellen.
I love it, Brad. I love it.
What about you? I gotta ask you now. What's the temptations for Kellen?
I mean, it's food. That's the thing for me. Like,
Sure. I can see like food would be a major thing for a lot of people, and it's just not for me.
Pretty sure on the soil, right? Like,
yeah, it's like I enjoy food and I like snacking and whatever, but I don't like care about it or crave it.
Oh, I care. I crave. It motivates me. Literally, if someone says, "Hey, you can't do this until we will not feed you until you do this thing," that is the easiest way to get me to do something.
Right. Notes being made. Food for Kellen.
Yes.
It's good to know. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know. I'm not wired that way. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I probably would have said alcohol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I got over that eventually, and I think getting over that hump of where like I fully control my alcohol consumption sort of broke that part of my brain. It was like either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. There's no fuzzy middle ground where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't, but I want to. Like it's sort of just wasted energy now that I just don't bother with.
There you go. You got another good one for us to go out on, Brad, or you got a couple of small ones?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, here's just a nice silly one. If you could give the 2010 version of yourself a message, just one short statement, what would that message be?
Brad, that's a fucking heavy question, dude. 2010 Kellen. Okay.
2010 Kellen.
2010.
2011, whatever, like 10-ish years ago,
Yeah. So 2010 Kellen. I
mean, fair. Pittman.
It's fair.
That's a solid answer.
Mm-hmm.
That might be my answer.
Yeah.
Because I had the chance to buy a whole bunch in 2010 and I didn't because I was an idiot.
Yeah. I think, Brad, I'm thinking about where Kellen was in 2010. I'm thinking about 2010 is when I am doing the most performing. I am in Chicago and LA and New York and doing everything that way and feel as invincible in my fucking life as possible. Like I'm like this party never ends, right? I would probably say something to say enjoy it. Because there was a part in my life in 2010 where I thought that I was at the bottom of the mountain. I didn't realize I was closer to the top. So I think that would probably be the accurate answer, the emotional answer that I would probably give that way. And yeah, that's where I would go. Yeah. But also buy Bitcoin, that's
buying Bitcoin is a solid message. I'm still annoyed with myself. I had a roommate that was getting into mining Bitcoin back then when it first started, and he told me about it, and I thought it was the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing though, is it's like there's so many moments like that in your life, right? My dad talks about like being in the early 80s and having the chance to buy into a little company called Qualcomm, and he's like, I don't need to do that. I'm not interested in technology, right? Like there's so many moments in your life that way where if you think about that, you're just going to go fucking crazy. So
yep.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Brad.
Yes, Kellen.
Here's my question for you. If you could meet one dead person, who would it be? Sheesh.
One dead person. Probably Carl Sagan.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Super interesting dude. Would definitely get high with me.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just get high and talk about science and
Mm-hmm.
the philosophy of science, and that would be a good time, I think.
That'd be a very, very good time.
How about you?
Probably like Laurence Olivier. I'd want to like some like old British actor who wants to fucking drink and have a good time, you know.
Sure.
Like I would love, you know, Elizabeth Taylor, just some old classic Hollywood or classic actor who was there at the time, and just to ask them questions. Richard Burton. I would love to just sit there and just hear them talk about that sort of thing. But Carl Sagan is a fantastic answer, Brad.
Hey, Kellen, I think I got a question for you.
Okay.
Gonna need not necessarily a direct answer, but we're gonna work something out. Kellen,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
When are we starting this hate watching podcast?
I mean, Brad, that hate watching podcast could start this weekend. That podcast could start this weekend, and I what's really interesting about this idea, Brad, is there are people on both sides. There are people who love the Big Bang Theory who would be pissed at our thoughts, and there are people who hate it who would watch along with us and love the fact that we are torturing ourselves.
Sure.
Torturing ourselves to get through this. There's some great answers in the chat in terms of Mark Twain, Lenny Bruce, George Carlin. Carlin would be amazing. Carlin would be absolutely incredible.
That would be crazy good.
Twain would be amazing. Just to hear Twain's thoughts. Lenny Bruce would be great. Bill Hicks would be another great one. Like, there are so many.
A little trolly. A little trolly. I like it. I like it, though. I'm a fan.
He was more into the fish. He's a guy who likes a lot of fish.
That would be a complicated conversation.
Yes.
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce would be great. Yeah, there's another great one. You know, Rita Hayworth. That'd be another great one. There's so many good comedians. There's so many fucking great comedians that I would love to talk. Richard Pryor. We're talking about Brewster's Million. Love to talk with
Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks would be great.
Hicks would be fantastic. Chris Farley would be another great one to talk to. Yeah. Groucho Marx, Robin Williams would be too fucking hard. Like, I wouldn't want to bring Robin Williams back from the dead. I'd want to let Robin Williams be dead. I'd be like, he was sad. We should just let him.
I would very much love to hang out with Robin Williams, but that would crush me, I think.
It would crush me too. It was just such a good answer. It's such a good answer, Carrie. It would crush. It would crush. Oh boy. Brad, this is, as always, absolutely fantastic.
Good. And now we're going to be starting a podcast.
And now we're going to start a podcast. And people will have to say, this is not a podcast. This is a show that we do, and you watch it with your eyes, and you listen to a podcast, and we would be doing something else that way. And then again, when we have the Patreon, we would watch the show with people and then do an MST3K, and then afterwards record and be so angry. This is
going to be so good.
So good, Brad.
We're creating work for ourselves.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
It's excellent. As always, this was like the highlight of the week. This is
absolutely, Brad. Absolutely.
All the YouTube things, everybody. Thanks for coming.
And for everyone who is here, everyone who interacts with us, who answers question along with us, who interacts, it's all fantastic. We really, really appreciate it. You're all fantastic for being here and supporting us. So thank you all. And Brad, I will come with more questions next week. I've got some weird ones in this list that we didn't get to, and I'm excited to see what happens. And again, Brad, you teased. Is something happening next week? Are we doing this thing that you've been working on?
I think next week we should be able to do a thing. Yes, I'm building a thing. It's going to be fun. It is related to something we talked about a little bit today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's going to be a good time, I hope. Jeez. I mean, it might be a disaster, but it'll still be funny. So either way.
Brad, I hope it's a disaster because disasters tend to be fun.
There you go. Set the bar low. It's perfect. Yeah. See you next week, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.